This week came the tragic news of the death of the Irish singer Sinead O'Connor. She was 56. Tributes have been paid around the world, including from the Irish President Michael D. Higgins, who called her one of our greatest and most gifted composers, songwriters and performers of recent decades. Sinead O'Connor was born in 1966 in an affluent suburb of Dublin, the third of 5 children. Sinead later spoke about her troubled and abusive childhood, but found her calling in religion and music, as she told me when I interviewed her for the Radio 4 series Master Tapes in 2014.
I feel that I'm a soul who came in love with God. I was already in love with God before I got here. I'm a person who understood God and could see it through religion. I grew up in a country where it was not open to me to be a priest. Now, I knew I had a vocation as a child, and in fact, I knew I had such a vocation. I used to pray to God to please not make me want to be a nun, because I knew what that meant, because it was N-O-N-E, you know what I mean? And but I knew I had a vocation, and I was the kind of kid who would set up pretend masses. Instead of sitting there singing with the deodorant, you'd be setting up a fake mass. You'd be a little kid saying mass, but as a girl it wasn't open. But I had a vocation, and the only way I could perhaps express that vocation as a priest rather than a nun was through music.
Sinead began writing from a very young age and went on to release 10 studio albums. The singer's 1987 debut album, The Lion and the Cobra, was a huge success and earned her a Grammy nomination for Best Female Rock Performance. Right from the start of her career, Sinead was regarded as a bold, uncompromising musical talent. On the sleeve of her debut album, she's pictured shaven-headed, screaming. Her voice was an extraordinarily powerful instrument that could convey so much emotion, from rage and despair to whispered declarations of hope and love, often within a single song. Her biggest hit came in 1990 when she covered Prince's Nothing Compares to You, selling 1 million copies within a few weeks of release.
While I'm singing songs that are about me and that I do emotionally identify with, I'm able to sing them as if it's a character. But I'm also slightly emotionally distanced. That's my job. It's no use to you if I'm going to cry my eyes out in the middle of a song. It's very hard with Christmas songs. You can't sing Christmas songs at all because they make you cry.
But you say about crying your eyes out in song. People will always think about that video for Nothing Compares With You, and which was such a massive worldwide success. And there you were in that video with the tears pouring down your face.
Well, oddly, I think there's one little tear, and I think that tear is...
Well, yeah, it was one tear, actually,
That's what sold the record, I think, that one tear, because so many people felt the same.
In our Master Tapes interview, Sinead also reflected on how, even at the start of her career, she rejected her record company's attempts at image making and was not enthralled to the prospect of pop stardom.
Before my first record came out, my record company took me aside, God help them, and asked me would I grow my hair and wear real long and wear like some short skirts and high heels and stuff. And
so you went the other way.
Try to look like one of their mistresses, basically. And so I went straight from there to the barber. And got him to shave my hair. The poor barber, I'll never forget, a young Greek fella, and he cried after cutting my hair.
Controversy often followed her, but perhaps her most rebellious act came in 1992 when Sinead appeared on US primetime television show Saturday Night Live and tore up a photograph of the Pope.
I knew that there'd be a kicking, and I knew that there'd be losses, and I knew that there'd be people wouldn't understand and everything, but I could see 15 years down the line.
But the reason I mentioned America, because you were just breaking America there. You were becoming a huge star in it.
I already was, and I wasn't enjoying it.
But there must have been A&R men and record company executives who watched you do that and just thought, oh no, because,
I still get told, you blew your career and this, that, the other. But I say, look, it's all down to how you define success.
Sinead O'Connor was a rare talent, one whose personal struggles were often channeled through her music. I saw that at first hand when we recorded Master Tapes in 2014. She was smart, candid and surprisingly funny. She described songwriting as a cathartic process, said her lyrics were like therapy, and she played a few songs live alone with her acoustic guitar. During the soundcheck, I'd asked her to play a particular song, a powerful lament about her mother's loss. As she reached the last verse, I realised that she was in tears. It was an incredibly moving moment.
One can be afraid of the size of one's power. One's spirit can be a whole lot bigger than one's body. I have a massive spirit and a tiny little body. It takes a while to be comfortable and to even feel that it's okay for a female to say such a word as power. Sure. Yeah, we have conditioning, women of my age. You know what I mean? Is it okay to be powerful?
And then will he see me
The music of Sinead O'Connor, who has died aged 56.